welcome back. I hope you all enjoyed the headshot assignment that we worked on. I think we learned a good deal of stuff there. Focusing on the eyes is particularly important. How to get good light, how to use light from different angles to bring out a different type of subject each time, and how to work with your subject a little bit to get them to feel more comfortable. Now, we're going to move on to the next assignment, and this one is a selfie. It's an environmental selfie. So we're adding a little bit more complication technically, but we're simplifying it a little bit in terms of dealing with your subject, because your subject is going to be you. So this year particularly, where COVID-19 has really thrown us all off all over the place, shooting selfies might be kind of a fun way to maximize what we can do with what we've got, and what we've got is you and a camera. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to work on shooting some selfies that tell some kind of a story. Now, the requirements for this assignment are pretty straightforward. I need a draft folder, which I've already given you, with at least 20 pictures in it, showing that you're experimenting and trying different things. And then of those 20 pictures, I want you to pick the one best shot, the one that you really like, and stick that into Google Classroom. That's the one that you're willing to share with other people. That brings me to the first thing that we really want to focus on with this is, what's the story of your picture? Because this is not a head and shoulders shot anymore. This is a full body shot that shows you in your environment and shows something about who you are. So what is it that you're trying to show? You got to think about that for your own pictures. For mine, I think I'm going to focus on what it's like to be a teacher during a pandemic. So it's going to be a lot of me in a normal environment, but just me by myself there. And then the next one is the setting. Where are you going to set the pictures to get that idea across? And within that is also things like focal length, and like within the setting, how much of the setting are you going to show? I've been thinking about experimenting with my ultra wide angle lens to see how much I can increase that sense of isolation that I'm trying to go for with my pictures. But I thought I'd do one in the hall, maybe one at my desk. I thought maybe I'd try to set up one where it looks like I'm teaching to a class, but all the desks are empty, that kind of thing. Those are the ideas that are percolating in my brain, and we'll see how they come out when I try to shoot them. What are the props going to be? What kind of stuff do you need? If you look at the sample that I put in the original sheet, which is probably just right over there, you can see that was like the picture of me and a trumpet was me trying to look cool with my trumpet when I was like 25, 26, whatever. What props are going to bring in? In that shot, it's the only thing that makes that kind of an environmental portrait is the trumpet. It's a fuller body shot, but I'm sitting there with just a trumpet, and that's all that there is to it, and the kind of moody light and stuff. Costumes, like what are you going to wear? Ideally, I will be able to go and get myself back into teacher clothes and maybe shoot the second half, shoot a couple of these. I'll do some drafts today, and then I'll do some more drafts next Friday. Focus is going to be different this time. You're going to pre-focus because you need to know where the camera is going to shoot. So you're planning out the shot, and you focus before you get in it on a particular place that's the same distance as you. So like if I were going to shoot here, what I might do is leave something on the desk, like this water bottle, because that's about the distance to me. I'll put it right on the edge, and then I'll focus on the water bottle. Then I don't mess with the focus anymore. I get the water bottle out of the shot if I don't want it in there anymore. And then I know as long as I'm about there, the camera's going to get me okay. And then you set yourself timer to shoot a bunch of different shots. Set it to like 10 seconds and then 10 shots. And you can try different kind of poses. Each one like, hey, whatever you're going to do with your face. So that's how the assignment is going to work. Let's give it a shot and see how it goes. Here's me trying to figure this stuff out. So let's try our first shot out in the hall, because it's a nice empty hall. I'm going to get my stuff, and we're going to set up a shot that just is kind of depressing. All right, so now I have my camera set up with my wide angle lens on it. The next thing to figure out is where I'm going to put myself. So I've got to do a little bit of framing and figure out what my overall composition is going to be and where I'm going to stick myself. And then we'll figure out how to focus. All right, so now my camera is set up. I still have to figure out my composition to get it exactly the way I want it. I know I wanted it kind of low, so I kept my tripod pretty low because I want the floor to kind of get a nice 3D effect. I'm zoomed out to 14 millimeters here. You guys will be able to do 18 millimeters.
which is not quite as wide as mine, but still pretty wide if you wanted to do something like this. Now I'm just trying to make sure it's nice and level, because the more you're zoomed out, the more it makes a difference whether things are straight or not. So I'm at F11. I don't think I need that. I'm going to turn on my histogram so I can see my exposure. F8 seems pretty good. I'll get a decent amount. Actually, you know what? At this wide, I'm going to go to 5.6. And then I need to be able to freeze myself like small motions. So 1/60th of a second seems pretty good. And then it's just increasing my ISO until I get the exposure that I want. There are a lot of lights in the scene up in the ceiling, so looking at that big spike in the histogram, those are those lights. I don't mind if those are overexposed. See if I'm messing with it. Because they're lights. So somewhere around there, I'm paying more attention to my shadows and noticing that the shadows on the left side of the histogram are just on the edge of the frame. That seems like it'll probably work. The next thing I need to figure out is where to put myself. And I'm looking at the floor, and the floor is helpfully laid out in a grid pattern, so I can figure out where I'm going to stand on the floor and see how that fits into my shot. So I'm going to try and focus right about there. So that lets me know where I'm going to be standing. Then I'm going to set my shooting mode over to a timer. Let's give myself 10 seconds. And then yours, you can set it easily to how many shots you want to do. And there, for me, I have to go into my menu and self-timer settings, number of shots. I'm going to set it up to, I think 9 is my maximum. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to try and do 9 different pictures, and I'll think of like 9 different kind of poses in between. So I got 10 seconds. And I can't really see what's going on other than So that first shoot actually caught me off guard a little bit. And I think maybe what I'm going to try this time is like pretend like I'm walking into the frame. So let's try that one more time. I'll just set it off to go in 10 seconds again. I don't want to really walk because that's going to, the camera's not set to handle that kind of thing. All right, I won't really know if these came out till I look at the back of the camera because I couldn't see. So we'll check those out in a second. We'll try some other shots.
Hello, Future Warden here. We're going to take a look at some of these pictures and see if they came out at all. And wow, some of them really didn't. So first off, how did I not notice that with my ultra wide angle lens, the video camera was still in the frame? I did this session twice. I mean, I went through it twice, and both times I was like, hey, let's just think about how I'm posing. And I didn't notice the camera was in the frame. So if I'm gonna make any of these shots work, I'm gonna need to crop them. If I go to like an 8x10 crop, I can kind of bring it right to that line maybe. Then I can, it's not as wide, but it basically works. So then it's just an issue of like, which ones have a decent story in them. It's a bummer that I don't get the full thing. I like the ones where my head is facing up a little bit more because that means the light is shining on my face. So it's better lighting that way. These ones are pretty awkward where I was just standing there. Let's see. Then these are where I started like fake walking, right? Those ones seem okay. Like that's okay. I'm putting, when it says rating set to 1, that's putting a star on something that I don't hate. I like to zoom in just to make sure that when it's 1:1 pixels, it looks still pretty sharp. That one's pretty solid. Nah, that one's got some motion blur on it, I think. That one definitely does. That's okay. That one's all right.
Okay, so now let's try round 2. I've got an idea for one. Like I said in the beginning, I wanted to do one of me like teaching in an empty classroom. So what I'm thinking is I'll have my MacBook set up on one of these desks behind me and the camera behind it facing at the board, and I'll be at the board teaching. And it'll be clear that the room is like empty and the only thing there is just like a MacBook kind of like facing me. So I got some things I got to do. I got to move the desks around a little bit. Right now I got the desks set up for maximum social distancing, but I can't get at the whiteboard. So even though in a real situation, I probably wouldn't be using the whiteboard because I'd just be doing things from my computer and showing everybody. This is a way that kind of reads the idea. So let's try and do that. Let's move some stuff around. Now I have a space. I have to think about what I want to write on the board. I'll get there. I also need my MacBook, and it's got a ton of stuff plugged into it, so I got to unplug all that stuff. Now let's try and center this desk on the whiteboard, and we'll put the laptop on it. Setting up. It's not factually accurate, but it's emotionally accurate to what we're doing. So, okay. Huh. The foot just came off that desk. Okay. MacBook is set. All right, I think I have my props and stuff all set. So now I'm going to work on setting up the camera. Okay, my camera is in place. Now I'm going to try and set up the actual composition that I want. So you can see in a wide angle shot, a lot goes in there. And I may discover that I need more cleaning of this room if these shots don't really work very well. But let's see what we're dealing with here. It's quite a bit brighter as well, so let's turn down that ISO. There's a lot of bright tones in the room, so I'm looking at the histogram. I want quite a bit of spikage kind of in the right side. I'm trying to decide whether 800 is better or 560. I think I'm going to go with 800. Looking through here, I can already see there's some stuff that I can't, like, I don't like. I hadn't even noticed. Underneath the desk, there's like a sandbag and stuff, so let's get that out of the way. Got books, keyboards. I don't need the room to be clean, I just need the picture to be clean. So looking at my frame, I can see I've got the ceiling in here, so I'm not gonna have any trouble getting myself into this shot. Let's raise the camera up a little bit. We don't need the MacBook right in the middle of the composition. Let's put it down in the bottom third somewhere. And then if I'm at f5.6 this zoomed out, I can be pretty sure that when I fire off my shots, I'm going to be in focus. So self timer, 10 seconds, and I will have time to set up what I need to do. All right, let's take a look. So, there, Ethan Fromm, the book we're studying in AP Lit. We can take a look at those and see how they came out. One thing I want to do is, my camera's shooting very fast in between each shot. Let's do a quick change. Self timer. Interval between shots, 2 seconds. Give me a little time to think there. So now we're going to get 10 more seconds. We'll go back to this. I'm thinking this time I don't want to do like a butt shot, so let's say. All right, so those are some shots of me teaching.
And now we're in the classroom, different kind of vibe, much brighter. These ones I might crop as well, just because I don't like all the crud on the left and right sides of the frame. It's very busy. I mean, it's an accurate representation of what my classroom looks like, but I don't necessarily like it. You know, like maybe I should have taken this desk and brought it in this way, and this desk and brought it in that way. I might have to redo that one too. So these shots of the back of my head are completely uninspiring. That's okay, because you can see my face. Probably a better expression there. Let's switch to librate mode so it goes a little faster. These ones are probably better because I'm like, yeah.
I had a thought. One of the other things that I do a lot is like this year is a lot of hurry up and wait kind of stuff. And I love to read. So I thought maybe I'll try and get a shot of me reading at my desk. Because that's a little bit less like a story, but like there is a moment going on there. So I've switched to my 85mm lens. And I'm leaving the camera actually right where I set it for conferences, like classes when I'm doing it this way, when I've got my camera set up. So we'll see if we can get, like, it's a little bit of a tighter shot. We'll see what we can get with that. For this shot, I think I want to get the lighting a little bit more dramatic, so I'm going to kill the lights up here and any other lights that I've got around me. So this light goes, and then let's turn off those lights. So now we've got a couple of things to do. I got to clear my desk off because it's going to be visible. I don't want any kind of stuff in it. And then pick a book that I like. Maybe The Dark Tower. I love me some Stephen King. So we'll use Stephen King's Dark Tower, Book 7. Set that on the desk. Clear away my Fiji water, which I bought today because I forgot my water bottle. And I am doing the whole sweep it under your bed approach to cleaning by just moving things out of the shot. So I know that the shot is tight enough it's not going to get on this side of the desk. I can move all my garbage over that way. Clear that up. Take this. I'm thinking maybe I'll put my feet up on the desk. That'd be kind of fun. Move this over here. I got some wires. Not much I can do about those though. All right, let's start looking at how to frame this up, shall we? Looking through my viewfinder here. I'm going to check my histogram. That seems to be kind of dark. But it might be actually pretty good. Because I want side light. So we're going to have to test these and see how the pictures come out. Okay. So then we just got to focus. And I think I'm going to focus right on the book. Because that's going to be about where I am. And you can see, if I zoom in here, the background's blurry, but it's not too bad because I got it set to f5.6. If I want, let's even go up to f8. I'm not going to have any problems with that. And you can see on the histogram there's that little spike on the right. So I think we should be just about right. I'm going to set my timer. 10 seconds, 9 shots, 2 seconds in between each one. Now I run to my desk. If I miss the first couple, it's not a problem. Reading. Switch my angle a bit so I'm not blocked by the MacBook. Did any of those come out? Maybe, maybe not. Should I try a few more? All right. I had one last idea, which is just like an I give up kind of shot. Probably wouldn't work by itself. I need some shots with my face in them so you can actually see who it is, but I'm going to be like asleep at my desk. So let's try that. Lower the Okay, let's examine.
And then these, the focus is just off. I like these shots the best, but focusing here means that the book and my hand are just barely in focus. My shoes are basically in focus. Even at f8, when I'm at 85 millimeters, it just cuts that depth of field down. If I look at my face, it's blurry. It's not sharp. It's taking a while to load, but it's not going to work. That's not sharp enough for me. It's not as sharp as it should be. So I look at all of these and like, no, it's blurry. It's out of focus. So what I need to do with these ones, and I probably will reshoot these, is put something in the chair and focus on that, pre-focus on that first, and then figure out what I was going to do. If I was sitting right like this, like I am now, I'd probably be okay. But by pushing myself back and then kicking back, the distance between the edge of the desk, which is where I had focus, and my face, it's too much for that depth of field. It's not going to handle it. Like, that's a decent shot if it were in focus. And it's almost in focus, but I don't like almost in focus. I like in focus. And that's me crying because there's a sad part in the book where everybody dies. These are in focus now, but it shows that my hair is thinning, which I hate because getting old is the worst thing in the world. So I could use one of these, but my vanity won't let me. This one is the only one where you can see my face and it's in focus. But I don't want to use a shot because it's the only one that came out. I want to use a shot that like actually works for the story. So I'm probably going to reshoot these and see what we can get. Future word in here. Now, as I said, I wanted to try these again a little bit. So I came back the day before yesterday and I shot some more pictures in my classroom, this time without the video cameras running, where I could do a little bit more trial and error and see if I could really make them kind of work. So, and I found that was much easier. I could shoot a couple, come back and look at it, shoot a couple, come back and look at it without worrying about screwing up my workflow for making the video. So let's take a look. You can see right here I got 38 pictures, and I'll just stick those over on the screen over there. I've got 38 pictures here, and that's after I threw out about 2/3 of the ones that I shot. So I shot a bunch more pictures. And some of them are 1 stars and some of them are 2 stars. And then the ones that I ended up going with are the 3 stars. So let's just skip right to those. We're going to go right to rated 3 stars. So these are my 2 favorites from that session. So this is me sitting at my desk with my slightly moth-eaten jacket that I got from, well, not from, he was dead, but it was my grandfather's. So my grandfather's blazer and looking kind of teachery with a slightly goofy expression on my face. I think that sort of sums up my personality pretty well. I've got a book. I've got the Antioch mug that I just got. Bookshelf behind me. There's a map of Acadia back there. There's a map of Middle Earth. This is where I grew up, and that's where I spent all my free time kind of imagining I was when I was a kid. So it's got all my stuff. And then this is a redo of the teaching setup. I moved the camera farther back. I brought in more rows of desks so you could see more of a classroom. And I actually zoomed in a little bit more. It's more, it's 24 millimeters instead of 14 millimeters. And then I put on my mask so it's more clear what the story is. And I think the picture works better here. I also turn off the overhead lights and use just the soft light coming from the window. So there's a little bit more shape to the light. You can see it's hitting me from this side and darker over here. So I think those pictures work better. And the thing that I want you guys to take away from it is that it's not one and done. You have to shoot a bunch and then sit on it for a little while and go back and shoot some more. So you have time to do that. I've built it into the schedule. Take the time and make a selfie that's more than just holding out the phone and shooting your face wherever you happen to be. Take some time and think about it. Make something cool. All right, show me what you got.